Yeah, no worries.
Hi guys, and welcome to the House of Crypto. My name is Peter, and in today's show we have a Julian Vazel from Libre DeFi. Welcome, Julian.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Julian, could you tell us a little bit about Libre DeFi? What is Libre DeFi?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, the ethos of the project, what we're trying to do is build a one-stop shop for all things DeFi, but then crypto in general. We've got a lot of things currently working right now, like our farming, our staking. We've got decentralized exchange. We're doing an NFT drop soon. And then as we move down the roadmap, we're going to be introducing some play to earn gaming, a launchpad, our own stable coins. So basically the goals they're pretty lofty, but what we really want to do is bring all of these awesome benefits of DeFi, put them under one roof, make it really easily accessible, really inclusive, and kind of break down the barriers of entry for new users who might be new to DeFi and a little bit overwhelmed with the space.
Okay, so you talk about having a DeFi or the Libra token. What sort of utilities does the Libra token hold?
Yeah, so I mean, at the moment, the utilities are slowly growing, but at its core, the Libra token will be basically like the central focus of the entire platform. So, for example, right now for NFT mint, you use Libra tokens to mint the NFT, and then we burn those tokens. You can use your Libra tokens to farm stable coins, which are going to be introducing next quarter as well. For our play to earn gaming, you're going to use the Libra token to basically play the games and get involved in the ecosystem. For our Launchpad, if you hold Libra token, you get allocations to different projects. So basically, every product that we're building, holding Libra tokens and then also holding the Libra NFTs is basically going to be like your the best way to get the most benefit out of the platform.
Cool. Okay, so I got quite into NFTs recently, and I launched this is my crypto channel. Obviously, I launched another one called Peter Anthony NFT, which I'll leave a link for at the
Nice.
end if anyone wants to go and check that out. So I got quite
Cool.
into NFTs recently and have understood not just the artwork being kind of important, in fact, the artwork probably being less important than all the utilities that NFTs have. And the Libra token NFT has quite a lot of utilities. So could you take us through perhaps benefits of holding a Libra token NFT?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I mean, NFTs are like a really great way to get into this space. That's one of the biggest reasons why we wanted to introduce our own drop because it does, it gives people an easier entry into crypto. But one of the problems that I kind of see right now with NFTs is that, like you said, I mean, the artwork's great. It's like a status symbol. You get a great PFP, but the utility is not necessarily there with a lot of projects. So for our NFT drop, basically every single month we have rolling utilities. So if you hold that NFT, you get perks within the Libra ecosystem. So for example, month one, there's going to be boosts on your LP tokens. So depending on the rarity of your NFT, you can pair that with LP tokens and you earn better rewards on the farming. The next month, once we introduce our stablecoin vaults, you'll be able to earn boosts on your stablecoin rewards. Certain NFTs will give you allocations to different Launchpad projects. They'll give you whitelist opportunities to different NFT projects. So essentially, if you hold that NFT, it's like your all access pass to our platform. And then what we're going to be introducing is NFT loans. So basically, if you're a holder of that NFT and maybe 1 month coming up, you're not crazy about the utility that's tied into the platform, you can put that up for loan. Somebody can buy it off you and rent it off you basically for that month, and then you get it back once the utility is more in your favor, something that you like more. So that's something I'm pretty excited to launch as well.
So with regards to the yield farming, how does that work for someone who's maybe not so into crypto or doesn't understand the concept of yield farming? What's kind of the structure of how it works? What are the benefits of yield farming?
Yeah, for sure. So that's one of the really big benefits of DeFi that I think is still really undertapped. But basically, you combine two tokens together in LP tokens, so liquidity provider tokens. You deposit them into a farm, and then you earn rewards based on that. So a lot of different platforms offer this opportunity. You can deposit LPs into a lot of different platforms. What we do a little bit differently is we really simplify the entries. So for a lot of platforms, you'll have to buy two different tokens. You'll have to wrap them, deposit them into the farm. So it's a bit of an arduous process. For ours, you just deposit one asset. So for example, our Libra and BNB pool, you just deposit BNB, and then our smart contracts take care of the rest. So essentially what our smart contracts do, they take half of your BNB, they purchase Libra from a secondary DEX, it wraps the LP tokens, then deposits them for you. So within 30 seconds, you can be into our farms, never having been in a yield farm before. It's super, super quick and easy. And you can kind of get onboarded into the space in a really friendly and fast manner.
So jumping across to the farms, you can see that you get up to 306 or 295% APR with regards to some different tokens. Does that sort of fluctuate at all? How does it change as time goes on?
Yeah, so it definitely fluctuates. I mean, the higher the total value locked, the less your rewards are going to be. So, as more people enter the farms, the rewards go down because your piece of the pie is basically smaller. Yeah, so essentially that's basically the way it works. Like the more people that are involved, the less the APR. So for a lot of these farms, it's really beneficial to get involved, right at the ground level. But then again, that's why we're introducing our stablecoin farms as well, right? So all the people who've been farming for the past couple months, they can now use those Libra tokens and they can put it to work and earn even more passive income in a lot more of a stable and less volatile manner.
And does that, so looking, for example, Libra BUSD LP, 306% APR with a 0.83% daily. When it says 0.83% daily, does that compound on itself?
So the farms don't compound auto compounding. That's the one kind of tricky thing with our platform, because we do like the split the asset in half and buy it. If we did the auto compounding, it would constantly put sell pressure on the tokens. So the farms don't do auto compounding. Our staking though, so our staking currently doesn't do auto compounding, but for V2 of our farms, there will be auto compounding. So in the next like 2.5 weeks, once our V2 is up, once you start staking, you can get auto compounding rewards.
So auto compounding will say that the APR then is significantly higher than perhaps like 300% or whatever.
Significantly higher, yeah, especially for staking. So like I said, for farms, they still won't be auto compounded, but for staking, which is less risky anyway, because you're just putting up one asset as opposed to two and potentially suffering impermanent loss, you'll be able to auto compound. So the staking rewards are going to go up quite significantly with auto compounding.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, so that's a pretty exciting feature. So
For sure.
and you said that would be available in 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, so the plan is we're going to launch the NFT drop and V2 of our farms in conjunction with one another. So my rough estimate now is like middle of April. We're just finishing getting the smart contracts audited for our farms. The V1 is audited, but V2's got a lot more bells and whistles to it. So we're re-auditing them as well.
And where will the NFT be available to buy, or how do people go and buy NFTs?
Yeah, so we're going to do the mint directly from our dApp. So basically, when we launch, if you want to mint it, you come to our dApp. If you pay with Libra tokens, you get 2 NFTs for the price of one. You can mint just one regular NFT for, I think we're going to do about 0.25 BNB. But again, if you have Libra tokens, use your Libra tokens, you get 2 for 1. And then the secondary market that we're looking at is Pancake Swap. So Pancake Swap has their own NFT launches with different projects. We've filled out all the forms and applications for them. So the goal is to have the secondary market be on Pancake Swap for BSC.
Cool. And Libra tokens available to buy now on Pancake Swap?
Yeah, it's Pancake Swap, Trader Joe if you're on Avalanche, Quick Swap if you're on Polygon, and then Gate.io as well if you prefer centralized exchanges. And then you can also purchase it with your credit card or bank account through our partnership with Indicoin. So if you go to the Buy Libra tab at the top, you can just plug in your credit card details, you do a little KYC, and you can purchase Libra that way.
And then you mentioned that kind of like depending on the rarity, you get sort of boosts and things each month. So that's boosts on the APR that you can earn through the liquidity pool, right?
Yeah, exactly. So boosts on the APR, like I said, like allocations to Launchpad projects, whitelist for NFT projects, a lot of different rewards.
And that depends. So you talked about the different rarities. How many sort of rare ones are available? How do people potentially get hold of rare ones, even if maybe they're not lucky enough to mint one or whatever?
Yeah, so the rarest one, I believe there's going to be about 50 of the absolute rarest. Those 50 will give you 120% boost on your APR, for example, in the first month. The least rare ones will still give you 20%, so you're still getting a pretty decent boost. But it's going to be totally randomized. So we didn't want to have a situation where like if you pay more, you get a better chance at rarity. We kind of want to just have everybody in the community have a chance to get, whatever they get basically. So it's going to be a randomized mint. And then if you want one of those rare ones, basically the secondary market is the way you're going to have to get it. So
how would you describe the artwork? What would you say is the inspiration? I think I know.
Yeah. I mean, I really love the artwork. So it's we work with a really really cool artist. I'm going to I'll link his Twitter and stuff on our Twitter account. But yeah, so basically it's Canadian themed. So we call it the Animal Farm. There's 5 different animals. There's a grizzly bear, there's a moose, a goose, a beaver, and a caribou, which are all like very Canadian animals. We're almost exclusively Canadian company, so that was the inspiration behind that. We wanted to have like a Canadian flair on it. One of the guys is wearing a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey. One of them's wearing a Toronto Raptors jersey. There's like toques and stuff like that. So it's more of a Canadian themed sort of NFT launch.
Mm-hmm. And what's your own personal background in crypto? How did you sort of get started with it all, and how did you end up coming up with this concept?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been casually in crypto since like 2016 or so, as an investor, very, very little as a trader. And then I really, really started getting into it in 2017. But summer of 2020 was where I really kind of got, more obsessed with it, especially with like the DeFi summer. That was really where I got my feet wet in the industry. And me and my partner, Josh, who's the other co-founder, we basically, we were in DeFi, trading in DeFi, 24 hours a day. And we noticed that there's not really this very welcoming atmosphere for DeFi in general. So we wanted to create something that was welcoming, that was transparent, that people didn't have to worry about getting rugged with, that people didn't have to worry about, anonymous founders, things like that. So I think we saw that there were some issues in DeFi, and we're still trying to solve some of them as well. But we wanted to create a space that was a little bit more accessible. So.
Mm-hmm. And you're yourself a sort of tech background, or?
Yeah, so my background is actually pretty all over the place. So I've been in like hospitality management, education, tech sales, business development. I worked for a couple startups in the fintech industry in Toronto. So kind of been all over the place, but crypto's kind of always been that secondary home for me. And 2020 was when I made the transition to doing this 100% full time. So
cool. Okay, good, interesting. From someone who also got kind of involved in crypto, perhaps 4 or so years ago, and then kind of like transitioned into it. I think it's super exciting that there's always opportunities coming in crypto, and I think that's what makes it such a kind of a special and interesting space.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the industry is still so young that the opportunities are just going to keep expanding. I mean, I think 5-10 years from now, there's going to be a lot more doors open in this industry, and I think a lot more of the workforce is going to be flooding this way. So,
what are your views on the metaverse?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm still not entirely sure I fully understand it. I mean, I understand it, but I'm not sure I fully understand the appeal yet. I think it's interesting. Definitely, I think there's a lot that can be done with it, but I haven't dipped my toes that much into the metaverse yet. So I'm still hot and cold on it.
Can't help but feel that maybe it's a little bit of a worrying thing.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
that movie with Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy or something like that.
Yeah. It's funny because
through their computers and these sort of these digital people and these people who are like seen as heroes in the game, but at home they're kind of just doing nothing and sort of sat in their bedrooms and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that if people are doing that at home, but
no, I agree. It's funny because my friend actually we were talking about it the other day, and he was just like, if the metaverse really takes off, we won't actually have to be sitting in the same room having this conversation. You can be at your house on your couch, and we can all be at our houses on our couch having this conversation in the metaverse. And that to me doesn't sound too appealing, but I mean, I guess we'll see, right? I don't know what the world's going to be like in 5 or 10 years, but
yeah. I think maybe for like development of the real world, it's kind of like a good, like even the name, the sandbox, right? The concept of all these kind of things where they can go and kind of play things out in virtual reality and then see if they work in reality and build. Perhaps it's
Absolutely.
going to change architecture and everything's going to go crazy. It could be really interesting.
For sure.
Um,
Definitely.
so in terms of like sort of partnerships and integrations and things, at the moment you've been working with sort of Polygon, Chainlink, and sorry, Polygon, Chainlink. It's also on Avalanche and BNB, right?
BSC, yeah. So basically, yeah, we're cross chain, so you can, yeah, you can trade us on BSC network, Avalanche network, Polygon network. The integrations that we have with Polygon and Chainlink, Polygon, we actually got their developer grant back in October, so they help out a lot of smaller projects building on their platform with, some development funds. So we got accepted for that in October, and then Chainlink, we just use them as our price oracles and for VRF technology, which is basically like their randomized events. So that's how we're integrated with those two.
And is there any sort of upcoming integrations or plans to work with particular organizations that you can talk about?
Yeah, so the big thing that we're working on now, kind of behind the scenes, we started building a bigger business development team. So what we're really trying to do now is onboard, not only our, the retail users and crypto users, because we are a B2C platform, but we also really want to focus on B2B as well. So because we are trying to build a business, and so a lot of our focus is going to be onboarding other projects who might want to use our technology. So for example, we can white label all of our smart contracts for farming, for staking. We can offer liquidity pools on our decks. We can offer different utilities for NFTs. So if there's an NFT project who has great artwork, but they maybe want to build in some utility into the smart contracts themselves, we can do that for them as well. So the goal moving forward is to basically try to partner with as many projects as we can to build out more farms and build out more liquidity on our platform. So we're in talks with quite a few different smaller projects to basically white label different aspects of their project for them.
Cool. So I think one of the
Yeah.
main barriers in crypto, or the main barrier at the moment with regards to kind of like crypto becoming more mainstream, because despite thinking that it is pretty popular, still many people don't really hold crypto and not really interested in crypto or whatever. So I look sort of looking through your website and talk about the real world goods marketplace. I think once people are able to use crypto to buy more things, I know it's possible, but could you take me through your kind of real world goods marketplace? I think this could be a very exciting thing and something to make crypto potentially more mainstream in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest hangups for people is that they say, okay, I've got this, cryptocurrency. What can I do with it? And so that's really the process that we're tackling, like the stablecoin with. So when we launch our stablecoin, it'll be backed by fiat currency. So one to one, if you have one of our stablecoins, you can be assured that it's backed by the US dollar. And the way that you farm that is through holding Libra tokens. And then that currency itself, which USDL, which is our stablecoin, will be used as the central currency of our marketplace. And that marketplace will be similar to like a Bitrafil, where you can get gift cards and things like that. But then we're also going to be working with different merchants where you can buy, a pair of Nike shoes, or you can buy an Xbox, or you can buy something off of Amazon with your USDL. So the goal there is basically to provide that passive income to our users. And then with that passive income, they can actually buy things that they would need, whether it's, gift cards or actual real tangible goods.
Hmm. Awesome. No, I think it's sort of really important that people are able to go out and kind of buy these different things. I mean, living in China, we've been using something called WeChat, which is,
Yeah.
I guess, like WhatsApp, but also has everything on there, from being able to book flights to trains to sending money all to each other very simply, or to split bills for whatever. It's like the ultimate app. And I haven't sort of held a wallet for the last 3 years, and I haven't used cash for about 3 years. So it kind of almost feels like I'm kind of already in that space already. And I can kind of see that the future is hopefully going that way for the rest of the world with regards to crypto, and being able to just, scan pay for things and earning rewards on my phone. Because, whereas at the moment I hold the local currency in my phone, I don't get any particular rewards for that. But I think one of the biggest pains in crypto is having to constantly like get on my computer and move stuff to one place to one place. So I think it's still a bit
Yeah,
kind of clunky,
definitely.
and there's definitely a need for it to all kind of be smoothed over and ironed out a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely these bottlenecks that exist, and it's going to take some time. I mean, we know our roadmap is really it's really hefty, but our plan has always been from day one to be here for 5, 10, 15 years, not just for one bull run and that's it. So it's going to take a lot of development and trial and error, but I'm excited for what we can bring to the space and just in general what crypto has to offer, because I think. Again, I think, like you said, I mean, a lot of people still just aren't in this space yet. And so there's a lot of room to grow.
Hmm. So what are your kind of upcoming features? You've got obviously lots of things happening. The NFT. What other sort of main focuses do you have at the moment in terms of things that people can look forward to from Libre DeFi?
Yeah, so April is going to be a really busy month for us. Like I said, we've got our first NFT drop. V2 of our farms is coming out, which I'm really excited for. The UI is just updated. The UX is a lot sleeker. The farms have different capabilities to them, which I think is really going to be cool for our users. We're turning down the emissions as well, so some of those APRs might go down a little bit, but long term, it's going to be a lot more sustainable for the growth of the token and the token price. And then we should be able to roll out our first beta vault as well, our first stablecoin beta vault by the end of the month of April. So users who have been, staking Libra and earning Libra are finally going to be able to deposit that into stablecoin vaults and just earn totally passive, not volatile assets in return. So April is going to be crazy. And then by May, June, we should be able to start releasing some teasers for our play to earn games.
Cool.
Yeah.
And with regards to sort of stablecoin potential returns, what can people look forward to there?
Yeah, so it'll be dependent on how much you stake and how long you stake it for, but there'll be a variety of different vaults. So, for example, there might be a 7-day vault that gives you a 10% return. There might be a 30-day vault that brings you a 20% return, a year vault that brings you, 120 or 130% return. So it just depends on how much you stake, how long you stake it for, and what the lockup periods are.
Is there any particular risks involved with staking or with regards, because obviously with other coins, excuse me, obviously with other coins, staking can be potentially risky because if you stake, I don't know, Uniswap or pancake swap or whatever it is, you kind of depend on that token holding its value, whereas obviously the stable coin holds its value. So where does the potential risk come from in that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the risk would be, that if you're staking Libra, you are still staking a speculative asset, right?
Yeah.
So the asset that you're using to earn the stable coin can still fluctuate in price, but at the end of the day, what you're getting back is a stable asset, right?
Mhm.
So if you are in that year vault that pays you 150%, you just gotta hope that the market doesn't tank while you're in that vault. But that's one of those things that is just kind of a risk with crypto in general. But
And it's pre-agreed that you're going to put it in for a year or 6 months. You have to sort of do that at the start, or you just leave it in. That's what happens.
no, so there'll be different vaults. So you'll get to choose the amount of time, you'll get to choose what APR you want, you'll get to choose like all the lockup periods, how much you want to put in. So there'll be like beginner vaults that are like the more short-term ones with lesser APRs, and there'll be like the more advanced ones that you'll be able to deposit more money into, but you'll have to lock them up for a little bit longer, and the risk is a little bit higher. So.
Cool. And you're also going to be bringing out a Launchpad Incubator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one thing that we're going to be launching is again our own launchpad. So basically, we'll onboard other projects. We'll completely vet them. So one thing that's really important to us, especially in DeFi, is making sure we're working with public teams. Doesn't necessarily have to be public. I shouldn't say that. I think there are a lot of teams that are anonymous, but as long as they're public to us, when we start onboarding new projects, as long as they're public to us, we'll help them with security audits. We'll help them with their cap table if they need help with their cap table, because we have a lot of connections with different investors. We'll help them with tokenomics, things like that, and then they'll be able to launch on our launchpad, and our community will basically stake their Libra tokens, and then they'll get guaranteed allocations into these launchpad projects that we launch.
So, since I've been involved in NFTs, I myself have been victim of rug pulls and things like that. It's a steep learning curve because there's a lot of people jumping in, and when there's ever a lot of money to be made in something, there's a lot of people who are trying to scam their way to get that money.
For sure.
What as you talk about sort of going and vetting companies for launch pads and stuff. What would you kind of advise people to do when they're looking at perhaps new cryptos, new NFTs, in order to be able to avoid scams and avoid avoid too much risk?
I think the biggest thing, honestly, I mean, I hate to say it, but my advice is always invest small. I know that the goal is always to make like 100x overnight and become, be able to retire yourself. But my advice to new investors is always invest small, regardless of the due diligence that you do. I would say make sure the audits, make sure the smart contracts are audited first, preferably public teams, because we have seen public teams rug in the past. But when you have a face to talk to, I mean, I'm in the community every day, people can vouch for me, it's a little bit more comfortable to invest. So contracts, make sure you're investing in the right team. Look at partnerships. If you see partnerships, make sure that the partner that company is saying they're partnering with is actually tweeting it as well. For example, Chainlink, you can go on Chainlink's Chainlink's Twitter account. They tweeted out our integration with them. So things like that. I think it's really important to dig deep, and maybe you FOMO a little bit, but I would say to not jump in too quick at the chance of making a quick buck overnight, and just start small and start slow, and crypto is going to be here for a really long time, so you don't have to make all your money in 7 days off 1,000x. You can spread that out a little bit, and be a little bit more safe with your investments.
And in terms of sort of investing for the year, do you have or the next sort of perhaps few years, do you have any kind of areas that you think investors should be focusing on, that you yourself, as someone who's been involved in crypto for a while, would be looking at this particular space or area, or this particular token or that particular token, as a kind of a good potential investment? Obviously, nothing is financial advice on this channel, but
yeah, for sure.
Anything that you can advise or look at.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like my long-term holds are always going to be, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are my, probably never sell bags. Outside of that, I do think DeFi is going to make a return. I know the TVL and token prices have gone down quite significantly since the previous run up, but I think DeFi 2.0 is really going to be something that kicks off. And if you take a look at right now, the market cap of DeFi, it's still undervalued. If you look at the total value locked, still undervalued. If you look at the amount of people who are actually interacting with DeFi contracts, very, very few so far. So I think DeFi will see another run. I do think Metaverse is going to be, here to stay. I think there's only going to be a few projects that probably, make it out of that. I think it's starting to get to be a little bit more saturated. So, and then GameFi as well. I think, if there's a way to make gaming profitable for token holders and people interacting with the ecosystems, that's going to be the way it really kicks off, because, people love to game, people love to make money. So being able to create a sustainable environment around GameFi, I think is going to be an interesting thing for the future, for sure.
Sure. And you have your play to earn game is going to be coming out later in the year, or?
Yeah, so I mean, fingers crossed that it'll be by Q3. But yeah, basically it'll just be like little arcade type games where people can deposit their Libra tokens in order to play them, and then the Libra tokens will be burnt, and they can earn various rewards based on their standing on the leaderboard. So you can earn NFTs, you can earn gift cards, you can earn cash, you can earn other cryptos, things like that. So the goal there is to create like really snappy, fun, quick games that kind of reel you in, and then it also provides utility for the token itself. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think gaming, well, with the rise of Gala gaming and things, I took a look at Gala the other day on the channel, and I think the rise of gaming, you're right, because so many people play games, and a lot of people will say maybe it's a kind of a waste of time, but if you could then like justify it by being able to make returns from it, then it might change things.
Absolutely, for sure. And I mean, it's a massive industry too, right? Like gaming has been around forever. It's a tens of $billion industry, and it's not going anywhere either. So I think combining the two is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think a few years ago and stuff, people were probably, if I not that I do, but if I told my parents that I was going to go and work in gaming and stuff when I was a bit younger, they'd probably be like, "Why are you going to go and do that?" And then you realize it's far bigger than pretty much a whole load of other industries that would be far more acceptable to go into.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I mean, even with this space, like, I mean, most of the people that I talk to have no idea, what I do. And when I try to explain it, it's still very much like, oh, you're involved in that Bitcoin stuff, whatever. But, I think it's, I mean, I went to school for history, I have a history degree, which is just a piece of paper I got 15 years ago that I never really got to do anything with. So I think it's going to be interesting. The generations that are coming up are going to, I think, probably see less value in getting that piece of paper and going to school for things like that. And it's going to be a lot more like hands-on, boots on the ground, learning to code, learning to program, things like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the world in general, but I think especially in this space.
Yeah, I think never has there been a better opportunity to do what you really want to do and be, obviously there's still people who need to go to college and stuff for, doctors, lawyers and whatever, and, many others, but now everything you can learn on a computer and YouTube and whatever has all the information that you'll ever need to go and create anything, whether it be creating a new crypto, creating an NFT, studying YouTube, learning anything. It's
Absolutely.
so exciting, I think, and I think the crypto kind of fuels this system in a way, and I think for the future, it's going to be a really interesting place. I think at the moment we're kind of in the transition period, and it's kind of like probably a bit confusing for a lot of people because people are still under the pressure to perhaps go the traditional route, but they don't really want to, and now they're going to start. Soon it's going to become more and more accepted that people are just going to go and do their own thing and figure it out for themselves, which I think is much kind of like more healthy and interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's interesting too, because in 2017, I don't think anybody expected the industry right now to be, $2 trillion market cap, and at one point $3.5 trillion. That nobody in the world thought Bitcoin was ever going to 70K. And I think that we're kind of in that position now too. Like there are a lot more eyes on crypto, but I think if you start talking to people, 8 years down the line, whatever, I think a lot of people now maybe are still underestimating the potential and where that peak is actually going to be. Because again, I don't think we've even really scratched the surface yet. So
yeah, it's definitely interesting and exciting. I just wish
sure.
Someone told me in 2012 to go and buy Bitcoin, and I just didn't really think that he had any idea of like financial information, so I was just like,
For sure.
nah, you're right.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. That's the thing. I really wish I had got in a little bit earlier than I did, but I mean, if we're having this conversation about it now, I feel like we're still pretty early in the game. So
yeah, hindsight and everything, but yeah, I think in 5 or so years, people will be thinking back to now and being glad they got in.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. And then I think I've asked you everything that I wanted to ask today about Libra token. Libra token sounds really, really exciting. Could you just give a brief summary to close up for the guys who perhaps have still not got the grasp of what Libra token really offers?
Yeah, I would say, if you're interested in DeFi, if you're interested in crypto in general, NFTs, we can basically provide, easy access to all of those things for you. My recommendation, and I say this on every interview I do, is come into the Telegram. Don't jump into anything. Come talk to us first. Our developers are in there. I'm in there. The other co-founder, Josh, is in there all the time as well. Our moderators are super friendly and welcoming. So, before you do anything, read our docs, go to our website, get in our Discords, check us out on Twitter, and DM me if you have any questions. I'm on Telegram basically 24/7. So come say hi, and it's a great community to be part of. So
yeah, so super transparent. Obviously, you can see Julian here and all the team there to sort of help you and instruct you on it, because obviously they're solving the problem of there being a lot of people within DeFi who maybe are not so trustworthy. So super trustworthy, super interesting team. Definitely go over, guys, and check them out. So Julian, thanks very much for coming on to the House of Crypto today. It's been really interesting. Guys, if you want to learn more about Libre DeFi, I'll leave a link down below, and you can go and check out their website in order to go and buy tokens, NFTs, and use the other features on the platform.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.